Hello there, this is Jennie from Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I have an art journal video with Stamperia paper, so get comfy and let's get crafty. I have seen Vicky and I make beautiful art journals with the Stamperia papers, so I purchased some 8x8 pads on Amazon. And then I could not stand to cut the papers up, so I went back and purchased this 8x8 Canson mixed media paper pad. Mixed media pad, there we go. And I am going to use it for the art journal pages I create using the Stamperia papers. Some of them are meant to be cut apart, and some of them are just such beautiful background pages that I just did not want to cut into them. I didn't want to tear them apart. They're already beautiful. I chose today to use this Oriental Garden pad, and I have a background page, this one right here on the left, that I think is just gorgeous. And I want to use one of the geishas that are in this book, this pad of paper. And I am going to go ahead. This is actually printed on the back cover, which I love. It means there's no waste. And I'm also going to cut out a journaling card that's included here. I do not end up including that onto my page, but it had a similar color palette and a dragonfly on it. So I thought I would cut that out just in case it became helpful or became an element that I wanted to use. My pad, my art journal book, is 8x8 and these papers are 8x8 and so that's going to make them just a little bit, when you add in the coil, a little bit too close for comfort. So I am going to go ahead and trim that edge off, but I can use that edge later as ephemera. I'm also trimming the borders of this journaling card off, and I am going to fussy cut the geisha out of this page. There are also some papers or some background images on this, the leftover part of this page I could use if I needed some extra ephemera. So now that I have my geisha, I hope I'm pronouncing that word properly and using it correctly. Now that I have my woman cut out, I am going to pull in some other supplies. I have this kind of muted blue washi tape and these postage stamp washi tape. So it's washi tape that looks like postage stamps. I also have some flower rub-ons that are in the same color palette. I want to start by adding some archival brown ink. This is potting soil to the edge of the paper with my ink sponge. Oh my goodness, words today are hard. I am also going to go around the edge of the lady and the edge of the journaling card just to make sure that the white core of the paper does not show through. It's a little bit distracting to my eye to have the white core of the paper showing through unless it's intended, unless it blends in. And in this case, because the background paper is more of a creamy, distressed off-white, the core would definitely be visible. I'm going to be using this clear gesso as my adhesive today. I have seen it used as an adhesive on the Miriam Small Art YouTube channel. And I will link both her channel and Vicky's channel down below. I did not know that you could use clear gesso as an adhesive. It's not as sticky as like a gel or liquid medium, but it seems to work, and it is a totally matte finish. And it adds a little bit of tooth to the page, so it's easy to add more texture with your shading and stuff. So now that I have this Geisha Woman adhered, I'm going to go ahead and add some washi tape. Outside of using the image of this woman and this particular background page, I have no idea what I have. I have no plan. I am now completely playing this by ear. It did not turn out like I guess like I thought, because I didn't really have a thought, but it definitely took a life of its own. So I have pulled off a few of these stamps, and this particular roll are butterflies and birds, and I think there's a bee actually as well. I am going to use the edging of the page as some kind of like washi tape as ephemera on my page. And I'm kind of off screen there. I apologize for that. I have a new camera and I'm kind of getting used to where it needs to point at my desktop. So it's mounted above my desk, but it's different than my other camera. So I am using those cut off pieces of the border as like washi tape. And then I am adhering these washi tape stamps, postage stamps, down in clusters. So I have a cluster down in the bottom left that you can't see very well, a cluster up in the top left, and it kind of just mirrors the image of the woman on the right. I am ink blending the papers I am cutting, again, to cover up that white core, and I'm trying to work in groups of 3 for that odd number makes my brain happy, although sometimes odd numbers do not make my personal brain happy. But my brain tends to fight with itself. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this third piece of paper laid down right here. And I'm, again, using that clear gesso as an adhesive. It does dry back like completely clear. And I took that paper not sticking down as an opportunity to change directions. I felt like I had a lot going horizontally, and I opted to take this smaller piece vertically. And it kind of mirrors the little cluster at the bottom that you cannot see, has some horizontal and some vertical. I am going to take this Believe stamp and add it to this cluster here at the top left. I went ahead and did clusters behind these stamps because they are a bit translucent. And on this particular paper, they did not show up very well just on the background page. In fact, they blended in even on the clusters a little bit more than I thought they would, but that's okay because I intend to add some shading. I do want to add some more of these stamps because I just got them and they're cool. You know, it's like a kid when they get a new toy, it's all they play with. I decided to go ahead and use some of these rub-ons. So I purchased these little floral rub-ons from Target's Dollar Spot a gazillion years ago. I forgot they were in my drawer until I rearranged my office this spring. Now, the problem is my gesso in that bottom corner was not dry. So the rub-on was sticking to the top layer of paper, and that just pulled it right off. So I kind of figured, well, the paper's dry now. I'll just go ahead and use another one of those flowers. This time I'm going to cut it out so I don't get any extra, like you can see that little red splotch up there at the top. And it didn't work. I guess the core of the paper was still too wet. I don't know. It didn't work. So I have to come up with a plan to hide the torn paper because some of it covered up, but not all of it. So I grabbed my ink sponge, and all that did was make a big ugly splotch of brown ink. So, okay, walk away from that, add some more washi tape. When all else fails, cover it up with washi tape, right? Paper has 2 sides. Washi tape is cheap, you know, when all else fails. And then because I increase the size of that collage cluster in the bottom, I am going to add another one of my washi tape stamps. This one is, let me look at the page. This one is a bird. Yeah, it's not even an English stamp. I don't know what it is. They're really cool. I got them on Amazon. It came with like 8 rolls of washi tape that look like postage stamps in different themes. They're super cool. Okay, so now I have to figure out what else to do because I have 2 clusters. I need a third. I originally had contemplated adding a cluster behind the woman's hair up in that top right-hand corner, but I didn't care for that look. So I decided to go ahead and add a couple of pieces of that border paper down here kind of to the center, just to the left of the woman who's been adhered down to the page. And it inevitably just becomes part of that first cluster, which kind of worked though, so I just went with it. Like I said, outside using this background paper and this woman, I did not have any rhyme or reason or direction for this page to go. I just kind of went with what felt good. And sometimes I think that's the best part of art journaling is because there's no rules, right? There is no rule that says I have to create art in a specific way when it's for me. And this is a just for me page, right? Nobody's paying for this page. Nobody offered any advice or suggestions for this page. This is just for me. So as long as I am satisfied with it and I am pleased with it, or I learned from it, then it's good. And I did. I learned to go on the fly, which I don't do very well. Okay, I'm going to add a third postage stamp down here because, again, rule of thirds. I got a little crazy with the postage stamp washi tape, I'm not going to lie, but I still love how it turned out. So it's a win-win. This one has some butterflies on it. It looks like this one's from San Marino. I think that might be, I don't know what kind of butterfly. It looked a little bit like a monarch. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, I decided to go ahead and add some more of those rub-ons up to the top the top right-hand corner of the page. And I picked 3, a red, a blue, and kind of a purplish. They kind of go along, they're kind of more muted, and they go along with the color theme on this page. And it looks as though the flowers are behind the woman's head, and that's kind of perfect. I did then choose another one of those dusty blue flowers to go up here in the top left-hand corner. Because I can. I did contemplate using this other postage stamp and didn't want to cover up my lady, so I put it here in the top cluster, which then creates 5 postage stamps, which is an odd number, so that should look pleasing to our brains, right? And then I need to go over the entire page with a layer of clear gesso. I am doing this to make sure that my washi tape stays stuck down. I'm also doing this because I intend to pull out a watercolor pencil to create some shadowing and some dimension. So once I have this covered in clear gesso, I can go ahead and heat set that with my heat gun, and I am ready then for the detail work. Now, the downside to the detail work is that my pencil sharpener was not working, and my Inktense pencil that I'm choosing to use today is the bark color. It's currently my favorite, and it needed to be sharpened just a little bit. So I did not get as narrow or tight of a shadow line or a shading line as I wanted, but that's okay. I made it work. Okay, so I am going to go around all of the things. I'm going to trace the outline of our geisha lady. I am going to trace the outline of the postage stamps. I am going to trace the outline of all of the pieces of washi tape and paper that I adhered to the background page. And once I have everything traced as closely as I could get it with my dull pencil, I am going to go over it with my water brush. Derwent Inktense pencils are a water-activated ink, and they are permanent. So once I have completely activated all of the pigment that I put down on the page, it will not be reactivated with liquid. I did also go around the little dragonfly that was printed on that page just for a little bit of extra something. Make it kind of look like a more part of the page, less part of the background. The Geisha Woman was a little bit difficult to cut out. I wasn't exactly sure where her dress and the background ended, but I did. I erred on the side of caution, and then I cut some more and finally got the image that I wanted. Excuse me. It's kind of high pollen season here where I am, and we are all just a little bit, we're just snotty. There's no other word for it. We have got phlegm and congestion going all the places. And there's just not enough allergy meds in the day to make that go away sometimes. Okay, so sorry, TMI. I'm going to go back to my art journal page here and just finish going around all of the postage stamp washi tape and the little pieces of paper and the collage clusters. And then it's finished, except that there's no title, there's no phrase, there's no saying. Although the front cover, the inside of the front cover of this paper pad has a whole bunch of words on it. I am going to choose these 2 little tags right up here in the top left-hand corner that say joy and love. And I'm going to trim them out with my scissors. I am going to add some ink around them with my sponge dauber. I did not put my ink pad back out. There's plenty of ink in my sponge dauber to ink up the edges on those little sentiment strips. And I am going to find a place on my page to adhere these little tags, these little word tags. And I decided to put them kind of right in the eye line of our Geisha Woman. I did overlap them just a little bit, and I'm going to adhere them with the clear gesso again, and then I will go around them with my Inktense pencil once I have that dried off. So I'm pretty sure that I could activate this pigment with more than water. Like I've seen it activated with clear gesso and also a thick gel medium. So that's an interesting experiment to try. I have to put that in my back burner a little bit. Okay, I have that attached and dried. I am going to outline it and activate that pigment. And then we're getting down to the nitty gritty. We're nearly finished with this page. I think all told, it was less than an hour, about 45 minutes of raw footage when I shot this video. So it wasn't a super long process. I think that comes from having such beautiful images and ephemera to use in these paper pads. So yeah, just a nice, quick, no stress art journaling project. I am going to just use my ATG gun to tape this art journal page into my art journal. So the cool thing about the Stamperia papers is that they are quite thick. They're more like a lightweight cardstock than a heavyweight pattern paper even. Probably about like a 60 or 65 pound weight paper. So they hold up to quite a bit of layering in and of themselves. So I didn't feel like I needed to attach it to my art journal until I was finished, which protected the coils. I don't like dirty coils. I've removed all of my art journals from coil bound binders or books and put them into fairy ring binders because I don't like the coil. So I'm going to sign and date it, and I'm going to add some close-up photos here. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. Give me a thumbs up and have a really fabulous day. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel and watching my video. I have linked a couple other videos here for you to watch, as well as a subscribe button. If you have not done so already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you know somebody who would like it, please feel free to share. Have a great day.